hear about the so-called Manosphere. Talk to us about exactly what that is and why it's been a draw for young men.
Well, the Manosphere, they're blogs, videos, and forums on the internet, and they provide answers to young men and boys who feel lonely, isolated, rejected, and they finally feel like, finally, someone sees me. But here's the problem with that connection. It often turns into misogyny, blame, and hate. They're being told, it's not you, it's them, and that's very dangerous.
You know, you and I were just talking about the parents, because the parents in this show, everything appears normal. They don't really see this coming, and they're struggling so much in trying to understand this. So what should parents be looking at when they're looking at their teens right now at home?
Well, if your teen has social withdrawal, persistent sadness, doesn't want to do any of the activities they used to do, those are all signs that something big is going on. But here's the thing. You know, the show showed us that it's not always so obvious, right? So you have to look at the emotional undercurrent. If you're a parent and you feel like something's off, something probably is. Don't ignore that instinct.
So that gets to a whole other thing when you're talking about the emotional undercurrent and really connecting with kids who may not have the words or the ways to express what they're feeling. What should parents do? How do you get to that emotional undercurrent?
Right, well, you can start small. Have conversations while you're having dinner or on car rides or putting the dishes in the dishwasher. You know, just find out what they think about things, what their friends think about things. Don't make it this barrage of questions, right? And then you also want to normalize struggle. So many kids feel like it's not normal for me to have a hard time. That is normal. And you don't want to overact when they share something major. You know, listen, validate their feelings, and then ask if they need help working things through. And lastly, and I've said this a million times, no smartphones overnight. Giving them that break from that pressure, even for those hours, can do wonders for your kids' emotional health.
Erica, we have a little bit more time here. I love the smartphone idea. We've been doing that at my house. So I've got middle school age kids, which is like, you know, right in the middle of this.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to figure out what's good, the hormones and their feelings and all of that. You know, and the show touches on that. What tips do you have for like approaching this age group? Because we struggle so much for just being able to communicate, with our middle-aged school kids.
Yeah, you're never more uncool than when your kids are in the
yes,
middle
exactly.
school.
I'm like, I hope they'll love me again someday.
Age.
You know.
But the key is to then know what their universe is like. You know, don't judge, don't come barraging them with questions, but talk to them, find out what they think, what their friends think. Listen. You really have to listen to find out what's going on with them. If they think that you're going to jump in and yell at them or criticize them, they're going to clam up. It's really about trust and connection.
Could watching a show like this together actually help open up that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, if your kid is old enough or you feel like it's age appropriate, it's a great springboard to conversation. See what they think about the Manosphere. Do they know it? Have they ever seen any of these videos? And just find out what's going on in your kid's head without jumping all over them.
Such good advice, Erica. Thank you so much, as always.
Thanks,
we so
guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. And we'll be right back here on GMA. And we were just sharing our favorite grandma stories here. So we are back now on GMA with the grandmas lending an ear to a younger generation looking for connections and advice. A loving grandson came up with the idea here of a grandma stand. And ABC's Will Gann says that people are just loving it. Will, good morning. You actually got a chance to speak with the grandma.
I really did. Yeah, my grandma Franny always used to say we had nothing, but we had everything, meaning they didn't have a lot of money or fancy stuff, but they had one another. And that was enough. Now a group of grandmas have banded together to give that gift of time and presence to the next generation.
They're grandmas on a mission. Dana, Flo, Sharon, Barbara. 4 of the more than 30 women taking a shift at the grandma stand.
It's a sweet, cute little purple stand, but they're deep conversations, very deep conversations. Last young man I had, he was 20, he's in the reserves, kind of, tough guy. And I said, do you mind if I give you a hug? He didn't want to let go.
At least once a week, the purple stand pops up somewhere in New York City with a grandma, an empty chair, and a prompt. What's something you need to let go of? What's one thing you'd change about the way you were raised? And today's question, what do people often misunderstand about you?
I'm very glad that I had the chance to talk to Grandma Dana and for her to share her experience with me.
It's just therapeutic. I like my
It's
grandma.
very comforting.
My grandma's like, she don't talk much to me, so it's nice to have a grandma that's awesome.
The project began in 2012. Mike Matthews teaming up with his beloved late grandma Eileen, who still has a permanent presence at the grandma stand.
What I love more than anything, and this is what my grandma Eileen loved, is this prompts people to actually build a better relationship with their own grandmother, to elevate the discussions.
The Grandma Stand racking up thousands of fans on social media. But those personal conversations between the grandmas and their newfound family members, those stay offline by design.
We all just need a grandma right now, when even those that don't have the best relationship with their grandmother or their grandmother has passed, here's a grandma. Yeah. You can borrow her. She's right here.
Can I get a Grandma Dana hug?
Yes, I love a grandma Dana.
The Grandma Stand is currently working on expanding to cities across the country, and Mike told me he's even heard from folks in Berlin and Paris who want some time with an oma or a grand-mère, because that love language is universal.
An abuela, too.
We have no emergency tissues for Janae here already. She's ready to step up to the stand.
I am, and because I don't want to cry about it, but like grandmas are so special.
Yeah.
I miss mine so much. That is amazing.
Yeah, the thing that folks here don't know is that my grandma Franny would have turned 100 this week. So to have that time and that hug from Grandma Dana, it felt profound in some ways.
Oh
yeah,
gosh,
you get it.
Happy birthday to
Grandmas are
Franny.
so much to so many people. Thank you for bringing that story, Will. And I love
you.
that you said you were surprised that there were 20-year-olds, young kids, going to get the love of a grandma.
Who put their phones down and just sit there and have a conversation and hold hands with the grandma. It's
kind
really
of
special.
connection.
Highlights a need for that kind of connection right now, too.
Oh,
So.
go hug your grandma if
Yes.
you're still lucky enough to have her. Thank you so much
We
for
cleaned out
starting
all
your
the
day with
Kleenex.
us.
Yeah. You good? You drawing?
Yes, because you guys got me laughing about other
Good.
stuff now.
Special morning. We love that.
Yes.
You can catch more weekend news coverage over on ABC News Live.
With Janae.
Yep, we've got great shows, so tune in.
Absolutely. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye.